Three very crucial wickets early on. And again, problems involving the sight screen at the far end of the ground. There's a fellow who just popped his head out for a little stroll behind the back of the sight screen, was sent straight back in. Probably one of the grandstands. We're underway. In comes Bolts, and Overton pushes this off the back foot to cover no run.
Yeah, often they get a little bit fussy, of course, a bit precious, these batters. But in that instance, Overton was fair game to pull away, because some chap in a fluorescent pink T-shirt just decided to plonk himself on a chair right behind Trent Bolt's left arm.
Just to the left of the sight screen as we look at it.
Move himself over to the offside. So if Trent Bolt were to go round the wicket, he'd be right in line again. Bairstow's going to get on strike soon. It's all going to go off.
Bolt runs in, and this is defended uppishly, but safely to short mid-wicket for no run. Just wants a good view, doesn't he, that fella? Got some sort of accreditation pass around his neck, so probably by the ground staff or one of the workers. And then there's another fellow who's just gone and hit him behind the sight screen.
I don't think that is one of the ground staff, because if you're part of the ground staff, you kind of know the rules, don't you?
True, you'd like to think so. In comes Bolt again, and this is defended out towards backward point. They think about a single, but it's well fielded in the end by Bracewell, and there is no run.
Seeing Jamie Overton, who's an authentic number 8, adjust in the defensive shot there to what
partnership, which is now worth 68 runs between Bairstow and Overton. Bairstow on to 52 from 51, Overton 29 from 45. And, this has been more than useful from the Yorkshireman.
Well, it's been essential. Without it, England would be sunk. As it is, their head is just above water.
Southey into Bairstow again, inflicts square, runs the first hard, but turns down the second after a good bit of fielding there on the boundary. 124 for sixth, still trail by 206 runs. Not that New Zealand would have enforced the follow on anyway, but that's pretty much done and dusted. 205 now they trail by after that single, so yeah, pretty to that happening anyway. But New Zealand, they'll still feel if they can get one of these two out soon, that opens up a pretty long tail as far as England are concerned.
Oh, massively, and even to take 100 lead from here, you know, they'll be a bit cranky if they do concede 105 for here for the last 4 wickets. But even with that, going to snap your hand off at the start of the day, and especially when you take yourself back to this time yesterday, 120 to 5 at tea. So yeah, they're in a marvellous position.
Southey in again, and this is off the outer half of the bat of Overton, out towards backward point. And there is one we were talking earlier about the Dickie Bird clock. The Players' Balcony is actually named after Dickie Bird as well.
Is that right?
Ground, the Dickie Bird Players' Balcony as well. I wonder if there's any more Dickie Bird mementos around this famous ground.
So this is good for you, because you felt it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, the clock.
Yeah,
I didn't feel it was enough. But the Players' Balcony, I mean, that's quite high profile. The England players all out there with Dickie Bird's name across there. Nice touch. Comes Southey again, and this is defended to short extra cover for no run.
There's a split screen on the host broadcaster's feed at the moment showing Jamie Overton's forward block against England opener Zach Crawley's forward block, and it makes quite grim viewing if you're an England cricket fan, because Zach Crawley is 24 years old. People are desperate for him to succeed, as is Stokes himself. He's shown glimpses, but there are some serious technical problems there. He doesn't appear to be getting on top of them.
Southey steams in again, and this is left alone by Overton. Safely through to Tom Blundell. End of another over then. England 124 for 6.
Does Kennard's make trade easy? Kenoth. Is iced coffee liquid gold milk straight from the udders of heaven? Kenoth. Do tradies deserve special treatment, like a 2-hour delivery promise, equipment swap and service on site, an express load and go service, and heaps more at their local Kennard's higher branch? Kenoth! Head to your closest branch to get the trade easy experience.
Kennard's make the job easy.
SENZ Test Cricket for Racine, the Paints Kiwis Trust, back here at Headingley. But also got news from Colombo, the fifth ODI between Sri Lanka and Australia. Sri Lanka batting first, making that 160 all out, recovering in fact to 160. They were 92 for 8 in that innings at one stage. But Australia, despite losing 6 wickets, on the verge of winning that match. They need another 5 runs from 12 overs. Alex Carey unbeaten on 43. Cameron Green with him at the other end. So a consolation victory for Australia on the horizon as Bolt continues here to Bairstow, and it's another play and miss outside the off stump, just in that corridor, that sort of 5th, 6th stump line.
That's where I get out all the time, by the way. That's my shot. That's the shot. The bowlers,
You've got to tell
who do
everyone that,
what Bolt does officially. Yeah, that's my area.
Left arm over.
Just briefly on the Sri Lanka series, though. Lost the ODI side of the series, Australia 3-2, but 4-4 overall in the cross format, and 2 test matches to come.
We're playing multi-formats now as Bolt comes in, and this is guided down towards deep third. Again, a vacant area, but Deep Point runs around and does the fielding, so just the single. Of course, the test series will be live across the SEN network. When it gets underway next week, we'll bring you live coverage of that, and lots more cricket as well, as England take on India in the 5th test at Edgbaston. I'll be there for that one, looking very much forward to that. We brought you all the action last year, the series nicely poised with India leading 2-1. But very different sides, setups, different cultures, captains, coaches, everything. So it's not really a continuation of last summer's series, but officially it is. It's the 5th test. As Bolt runs in to overturn another play and a miss, another good delivery. He's asking the questions, Bolt.
Well, he is, yeah. It's been a sparkling spell post-tee. He's not got any luck yet. Beat the outside edge at least 4 or 5 times. Just on that test match next week, I've got a good feeling about it. The fact that it's a solitary game on its own, I think it could end up being a memorable one. I think you often get that with these kind of one-off games. And I think it'll be a scream of a game of cricket, that one.
I certainly hope so. In comes Bolt to Overton. This time it's full and driven, only as far as mid-off. And there is no run. The Indians currently in action at Grace Road, taking on a Leicestershire, well, I would say 11, but it's actually a 13, and it includes 4 players from the India squad as well, including the likes of Rishabh Pant and Cheteshwar Pujara as well. So that one rattling along pretty quickly, actually. We're into day 2 of the 4-day game, supposedly. The Indians declaring as Bolt comes in, and this is another play and a miss outside the off stump from Overton. Bit of swing away after the ball pitched. So the Indians batted first, 246 for 8 in their first innings declared this morning, which a little bit strange for a 4-day game, and there's plenty of time left. But anyway, Virat Kohli was gone. I didn't feel there was any need for any of the others to get in. Rohit Sharma gone for 25. Kohli made 33. KS Bharat, the reserve wicketkeeper, making 70 not out, and some useful runs down the order really from Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Shami, getting them out of some embarrassment. 5 wickets for not Jasprit Bumrah, who's playing for Leicestershire. He didn't pick up a single one, but Roman Walker has not played a single first-class game. 5 for 24. 1 wicket for Prasidh Krishna, a couple for Will Davis. As Bolt comes around the wicket here, and this is defended to mid-off, and there is no run. We'll continue that scorecard from Grace Road as the Indians prepare for that 5th test. But at the end of the over, we'll take a short break with England 125 for 6, and after this short break, there'll be a change in the commentary as well, with Daniel Norcross taking over from me, and more details from him from Grace Road.
Does Kennard's make trade easy? Kenoth. Is iced coffee liquid gold milk straight from the udders of heaven? Kenoth. Do tradies deserve special treatment, like a 2-hour delivery promise, equipment swap and service on site, an express load and go service, and a heaps more at their local Kennard's higher branch? Kenoth! Head to your closest branch to get the trade easy experience. Kennard's make your job easy.
Welcome back to Cricket on SEN with Racine, made in New Zealand for New Zealand conditions. As Tim Southey starts a new over from Kirkstall Lane end into Bairstow. Bairstow clatters this ball through the covers. That's heading towards the boundary. I think Dean Conway's going to get round to field it. He does. Had a lot of work to do out on that boundary, is Conway. And they get a couple more. It was wide-ish. Played with a horizontal bat, really. Almost. It was almost like a sort of cut drive. Can you imagine such a thing?
It's a Bairstow signature shot, that, isn't it? It's all about weight transference rather than planting your feet. You know, there's an uncomplicated way that he plays, of course. When his eye's in and the body's feeling good and the heart and the soul are in sync with Johnny B, then he's one hell of a cricketer.
Here's Southey. Down the leg side, taken by Blundell, eventually diving to his left. So here's some more details on that Leicestershire game. Leicestershire made 244 in reply. Rishabh Pant top scoring with 76. 34 for Rishi Patel, 34 for Roman Walker. What a game he's having. He's still not played a first class match. Because he's not first class. A duck for Cheteshwar Pujara. And Jasprit Bumrah did not bat, nor did Prasidh Krishna.
I really hope that Roman Walker has a long and illustrious professional cricket career. He doesn't. He doesn't. A long-time cult hero.
Southey in. On the strike, Bairstow on the pads, ball rolls out to the onside, and there's no run.
Yeah, deliciously village, that game.
Nikesh.
I'm just going to make a quick point here. Cheteshwar Pujara playing in the county championship scored about 800 runs in a month.
That's right.
You put him in a Leicestershire top. Well, I don't think he's wearing a Leicestershire top, but you put him in a Leicestershire side anyway. And typical Leicestershire form, duck off 6 balls. Disappointing.
Bowled by Mohammed Shami. Yeah. You are a Leicestershire fan, of course, Nikesh. Southey into Bairstow. On drives for 4. Lovely little push on drive. An economy of movement. Yep. Bairstow's going very well here. He's moved to 60. And I'll tell you what, England have avoided whatever chance there was of being asked to bat again.
They need another 100 from here, and then they can just about hold on to the coattails of this cricket match.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've done it a couple of times at home matches played against Pakistan, famously in the COVID series of 2020.
Daniel, nothing makes sense anymore.
No,
I said it yesterday morning. We all settled in and thought, all right, flat 1, 400 v 450.
Southey in, driven back at Southey by Bairstow. Stops it in his follow through. There's no run.
But as soon as you think that you've cracked it, then England just tear it all up again. New Zealand have gone about their business very effectively, efficiently, sensibly. You know, they recovered from an iffy start. They put a score of note on the board, then their 3 pedigree quicks went and did the business. Whereas England's just going through yet another midlife crisis, aren't they? You just never really know from one day to the next what you're going to get.
They're quite fun midlife crises, aren't they?
Don't get me wrong, they can be quite liberating stuff. I've had loads.
Southey is in. That's guided into the offside to backward point. There's no run. I wouldn't be doing this job if I hadn't a midlife crisis.
That's literally true, folks.
That is true. Yes. End of the over. England 131 for 6.
If you're doing serious outdoor work, then you require serious outdoor tools. And this season, Makita is rule the outdoors. And right now, you can get yourself a bonus Makita 18-volt brushless line trimmer free when you buy any selected Makita LXT 18-volt brushless chainsaw kit. Hurry, limited time only. Offer via online redemption. Visit Makita.com.au for details. Makita, rule the outdoors.
Welcome back. Test cricket on the SEN network with Razeen, the Paints Kiwis Trust. So, what time will it be out there in the Antipodes? It'll be 9 hours ahead in, say, Melbourne. So it'll be coming up to about 1:47 in the morning. A couple of hours later out in New Zealand, 3:47. It's a Friday night, so some of you may be getting back in from some revelry. And you'll be delighted to know that we're going to get the first sign of spin as Michael Bracewell comes into the attack, with England reeling at 131 for 6. But they were worse than reeling for. There was sort of like trying to cross an 8-lane motorway while keeping 2 bottles of wine held on a large silver salver, one in each hand. And unfortunately, the road itself was covered in ice. And,
Nicely done.
somehow, they're a bit better than that now. 131 for 6. Bairstow and Overton have put on 76. The ball hasn't stopped swinging, but it's swung, I think perhaps it's swung a bit earlier rather than the late swing.
Possibly. The way that Overton's played just really does bring it home just how skittishly England's top order played. You know, Overton is nobody's idea of a stylist by any means, but he has a functioning way of going about it. He plays it relatively late. He locks on the front foot. He plays it under his eyes, and he adjusts here and there if there's a bit of late swing. And he's got, you know, to 29 not out without really having to play a shot in anger. There might be a message in there somewhere, possibly.
Bracewell in off 3 or 4 paces from the football stand there. His first ball's been swept for 4. That was a rather deft shot from Overton, actually. Went down on one knee and just gave it just a gentle little paddle, and that's been a feature of his innings, actually. He's hit quite a few 4s. Overton, 33 out of 53 balls, but the shots he has played, he's played sort of a little punchy push.
Yep.
Economy of movement. No big, high backlift all the line.
Yeah, 250s for Surrey this year, highest score of 90 odd, averaging 50 as well. He's gone well in the 2020 stuff as well. It's a long ball.
Bracewell's in and shorter, pushed off the back foot into the covers. Good diving stop, prevents a run.
Yeah, this will be where he'll start to have to try and keep a lid on it. 33 on debut, the off spinner on day 2 at Headingley. And as I say, he does hit a big ball, does Jamie Overton. They've got a long on and a man lurking at deepish mid-off.
I want to see some flight here from Bracewell instead. It's a bit shorter, flatter, and turn round the corner from Overton for a single. If this tactic is going to work to, say, buy a wicket, then just get that ball above the eye line, and suddenly that brings you long on, your deep mid-off into play, just as Leach did at the back end of New Zealand's innings. He got 3 catches in the deep, didn't he?
Exactly, and just on that, I thought Stokes managed him very well. He kept him going. He clearly was in his ear to say, don't go to your shell, keep going, keep tossing it up, back yourself. He was launched for a couple from Mitchell and eventually got his man. That was good to see. I think that's a tick in the box for Stokes as captaincy, that he's thrown the ball to Leach and he's backed him up.
How does Bairstow approach it? Well, he's gone for a big yahoo. The first ball he's faced it completely, and he's gone through the keeper, narrowly missing the off stump. You might see that again in a moment on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen to see how close that was to his off stump.
He's ticking, Johnny.
He really
sees the face, look.
He's chewing the eyes.
He's chewing that gum, like it's 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
The eyes are popping out of his head.
He always reminds me of in search of someone who's nicked something from a fruit stall. He goes for another big swing, misses it, nods on his pad, rolls it to the offside. So when he runs pugnaciously. All right, yes. It's all that.
Yeah,
give me back them apples.
It's a good shout. He'll always get his man as well.
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, when he's got the man, you don't want to be that man.
No.
He's going to get a firm rugby tackle. The full weight of the law will come down on you.
Yeah, those documents get mysteriously lost from the library of the local cop station.
Yeah, it's like an episode of Sweeney from the 1970s. Yeah. Here's Bracewell. Into Bairstow. Bairstow plays his more carefully, watches it off the pitch, allows it to turn, and then just turns it round the corner down to the backward square. End of the over. 6 runs coming from it. England 137 for 6. The Clarkshire now 82. Bairstow has 61, and Overton has 34.
The TAB Queensland Racing Carnival is where champions emerge. Over the years, legends like Might and Power, Black Caviar and Winx made their mark in the Sunshine State. Last year it was Zaki and Incentivize, and this year the tradition continues. Staged over 10 weeks with more than $21 million in prize money, including 8 Group 1s throughout the Stradbroke season. Everything you need to know is at qldracingcarnival.com.au. Queensland is racing. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.
Welcome back. Test cricket on SEN from Headingley. The second day of the third and final test match in association with Razeen, the Paints Kiwis Trust. So, Neil Wagner is going to bowl from our end, the Kirkstall Lane end, so we get a chance to see how he's swinging it. It's a feature of Wagner, you know. Phil, go on. Sort of see him as always this guy can bowl these long spells of enforcing and banging it in. He can also pitch up and swing it. He's a tremendously skillful bowler.
Yeah, I wonder if this is a kind of English latent imperialistic arrogance that we look at. I'm not directing at you, dear boy, but we damn this bloke with faint praise every time he comes over here, right? We see him as a sort of a third wheel behind the big two. We see him as a bit of a shock jock, bit of a one-trick pony, and he's been totally misrepresented. And if you look at his record, average-wise, strike rate-wise and average-wise, is superior to the other two.
Wagner into Bairstow, cuts at this ball, gets it down to the boundary. Wonderful shot. It was a really good shot. He waited for it, waited late, and then guided it with a kind of chop. Past the right hand at backward point down to the boundary.
Well, what you saw at Trent Bridge from Bairstow was the last 10 overs slog of a 50-over game. What you're seeing from Bairstow today is the first 15 overs of a 50-over game. That shot, you've seen that in a garish light blue kit. You've seen that shot for years. And you have two men out, and you have a backward point, and he steers it just to the left-handed backward point and runs away for four. You've seen that shot. He does it in his sleep playing one-day cricket for England.
It's a beautiful shot. 141 for 6. He moves into 65. Wagner's in. Oh, it's a full straight ball. That's swung. And that is the danger ball. And that's actually, if I'm going to be critical of New Zealand today, and there's not a lot to be critical of. Their opening spells were superb, but to Bairstow, they have not targeted the stumps as much as they did to the top three, and it was a strange tactic because we know Bairstow has that vulnerability.
Indeed. They're just showing the LB that they didn't revert against Overton.
And that was some time back now. The partnership was about 10, wasn't it, at the time? If that. It's now 86. Wagner into Bairstow. That's fallen straight again. Well played. Only push it up to mid-on. But it was well played. That's straight back.
Definitely getting it though to arc and quite appreciably now.
Well, this is what
30 overs ago. This is the 31st and definitely starting to go now.
This is what you were talking about Wagner. You see him. It's like England's supposed to be this place that produces swing bowlers. The most swing on offer has come from these three Kiwi bowlers.
Yeah, happened last year though. We did the Edgbaston game and bowling a different game.
Wagner in straight again, but just guided to backward point because Bairstow a little bit gets through for a single. He moves to 66.
I would credit you knowing a reasonable amount about cricket. I'd even venture that I know quite a lot about it as well. Didn't know that Neil Wagner's average and strike rate were lower.
About 25, 26?
26 compared to 28.8 for Southie and 27.5 for Trentbolt.
I'll tell you something else.
It's taken 246 weeks.
When Wagner doesn't play, their averages go up.
Right.
When Wagner plays, it's the perfect virtuous circle.
Yeah.
He's got the best average of all three.
Doesn't bowl the new ball.
Doesn't bowl the new ball. He's in now. That's just tucked away by Overton. May have come off the pad, rolls down to fine leg.
Did you see the stat that came up? Sorry, Dan. Did you see the stat that came up earlier regarding the lengths that Wagner bowls depending where he is in the world?
No.
20% fuller in England than anywhere else in the world. Which it is, isn't it? Which again reinforces the point that we've got him all wrong.
Yeah, he's a very adjustable kind of player, isn't he? He's adaptable. Last ball of the over, he's in, and Bairstow thrashes this into the offside, but doesn't quite time it. Goes out to extra cover, straight to the fielder. End of the over, England 143 for 6.
stay in pole position this week with radio's #1 motorsport show, The Driver's Seat with Matt McKeldin and Stephen Johnson.
Dean Herridge from Channel 7 told us how Shane Van Gisbergen made the transition from supercars to rally.
I tell you what, the bit that took most of it, not by surprise, I guess, but was very impressive was he built up his speed. He absolutely was committed to the pace, though. So, yeah, what a massive effort that was in Canberra.
That's this week on The Driver's Seat.
Welcome back. Test cricket on SEN, in association with Resine, the Paints Kiwis Trust. So we've got a very interesting passage of play here. We're seeing if Bracewell can extract some turn. We have here the Chemist Warehouse screen, which is going to tell us just how much turn he's getting. His first ball is tucked into the onside. There's no run. Bracewell's bowling towards us, and there are very few things that are annoying in this job. But the hard thing is commentating on spin bowlers when they're bowling towards you with a keeper in the way.
How dare they stand?
Because I can't see properly how much turn he's doing. So, mercifully, the Chemist Warehouse replay screen is right here for me to be able to make those assessments. Leg slip and a slipper in the short mid-wicket. Just tucked around the corner again by Overton. Just goes back into his crease and picks up the single. I like the way Overton's playing here. He's not come charging down the wicket. He's batting for Bairstow. He knows he's got a man ticking at the other end who's in exceptionally good form of late and who's batting very well. And he's not got into his shell, Overton. He's still looking to score runs. He's on to 36 from 58 balls. He's not going slowly, but he's not tried any huge shots as Bracewell is into Bairstow. Bairstow tries a huge shot, pulls it round the corner, down to deep backward square for 4. Just dragged the legs down there to Bracewell. And Bairstow, who's looking to smash the ball to Kingdom Come. He's got a severe animus against this ball at the moment. He moves to 70, England 148 for 6. When I was a youngster, I was a very, very defensive player. My teacher, my coach at school, just got bored watching me, because I couldn't get out. I was there for all day. Bracewell's in. And it's clipped away out to wide, long on. He's run the first quickly. They should get back for a second. They do. And Bairstow is to 72. The 150 is up. 150 for 6. And so, and I was kind of, a bit of a firebrand in my youth. Yeah. 14, 15, 16.
Son of a Marxist.
That's right. The teacher just said, Danny, can you try hitting the ball? Just really going after it. Well, it's not really in my nature.
It's a set system there.
Bracewell, it swept. Not with great timing. And so it's just going to amble through for a single. The ball goes out to deep mid-wicket. And gets there. It goes to 73, 151 for 6. So the teacher said to me, the coach said, just tell me, who do you hate? I said, Thatcher. Nice. Just think of the ball for me, just for one game. Think of it as Thatcher. It transformed the way I felt ball on bat, hit one for a one bounce forward and never looked back. Down the wicket comes Overton. Oh dear, he's got that miles. He's hit it miles into the rugby stand for 6. What? Well, I've just been saying he's not come charged down the wicket playing any rash shots, but he's charged down the wicket there and he has deposited the ball into the crowd. And that is a 7-cricket partnership of 102 from 121 balls. This is an insane game of cricket. Drinks are coming onto the field with England on 157 for 6, Overton 42, Bairstow 73. It's almost impossible to make any sense of what we're watching, but it's tremendously good fun here on SEN. Resine, the Paints Kiwis Trust, as we go to the drinks break.
How do you cope when someone you love has dementia?
We're lying in bed one day and I'm just sort of leaning on my elbows like this and she's there looking up at me and talking and she just said, "Who are you?" Give me a card. I visit her every day.
Loving someone with dementia is tough, but those moments of love can make a difference. I'm Richard Fox from messagesofhope.org.au. For videos, podcasts and booklets on coping with dementia, including more of John's story, go to messagesofhope.org.au.
Test cricket on SENZ with Resine, the Paints Kiwis Trust. This is Henry Moran alongside Phil Walker as we watch down below us. Neil Wagner beginning the approach with Johnny Bairstow on strike. Full delivery, walloped into the leg side, a wallop for 4. One bounce into the ropes it goes, and Bairstow continuing the aggression seen from Overton. This out towards deep mid-wicket, towards Western Terrace. that are suddenly feeling they're getting their money's worth from this England side. 1-6-1 for 6.
Yeah, look, he's creating something quite special here, Johnny Bairstow. I don't want to speak too soon. We're just going to let it play out. Just going to let it play. But yeah, look, they're back in the game. You know, on paper, they're back in the game. 168 now behind. Get that down maybe into double figures.
Wagner in again to bowl to Bairstow. This time he's short, pulling away into the leg side. Work for the fielders to do in the deep. And a really good diving stop. The crowd don't like it. Bracewell showing bravery as well as skill, diving across those used pitches to stop that ball on its merry progress to the square leg boundary.
It's not the highest calibre game of cricket, but it's compelling stuff. Oh yeah, I mean, what a day we've had.
Incompetence is always more exciting. Why do people remember the game here 3 years ago? Because when Nathan Lyon dropped that ball, when the decision from the umpire was wrong, when Ben Stokes didn't quite time it and it was almost caught in the boundary, it's the little mistakes that make it interesting. Here comes Wagner into bowl to Overton. He's struck on the pad. Big appeal for LBW. Umpire Murray Erasmus stands and that head tilts from side to side to say nothing doing. He's looking increasingly, umpire Erasmus, hot out there, I think is the word.
Yeah,
he's sort of red of cheek.
Yeah, he's my favourite umps, but he's not had the best of games in truth. He's let a couple slide.
Here comes Wagner, 2 slips wait. Overton on strike, tall right-hander, straight to the leg side. Wagner with 2 wickets in his first over. He's knocked another one since then. He's bowled nicely. 6-2 for 6.
He played well here, Jamie Overton. Very well indeed. Crucial, really. England was sunk. England was finished, really, when he walked out to bat. Last recognised useful-ish lower order player. Matthew Potts yet to really make a mark with the bat in Test cricket, so it really was do or die stuff. He pulled it around.
Overton on strike, is defending again solidly. I saw on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen, and not too long ago, we had a comparison side by side of the forward defence of Overton and the forward defence of Crawley.
I was talking about this.
Yeah.
Doesn't make great looking, does it?
No, but I always think with those television comparisons, if you find one bad shot from someone, you can find a good one from someone else, and you can sort of make a point with
I hear
the
it.
evidence.
I hear it, but then when your front leg is braced, like you've just broken it, and you're an open bat.
Wagner ball alone outside the off stump. Overton watching that through. End of the over, 33 gone. 1-6-2 for 6 on SENZ.
Does Kennard's make trade easy? Ken-Oath. Is iced coffee liquid gold milk straight from the udders of heaven? Ken-Oath. Do tradies deserve special treatment like a 2-hour delivery promise, equipment swap and service on site, and express and heaps more at their local Kennard's higher branch? Ken-Oath! Head to your closest branch to get the trade easy experience. Kennard's making shopping easy.
SENZ Test Cricket live from Headingley, where we see a partnership worth 107 between Jamie Overton and Johnny Bairstow. Only 3 partnerships in this innings have gone to double figures or beyond. One of those was only 10. This is some recovery from this England pair.
Bracewell needs to offer a bit more, I think. Very flat. I mean, literally and figuratively, you know, it was quite an interesting moment when he came into the game, because these two are naturally pugnacious players against slow bowling, but he's not really had the balls yet, the guts to throw it up there.
Over the wicket he comes. This has worked round the corner by Johnny Bairstow. He'll pick up 1 more run to move to 78.
And of course, there was a lot of conjecture about whether he should be playing in this game, with Ajaz Patel, the more recognised first choice spinner. He bowled nicely in the second game, incidentally, Bracewell. Yeah, I thought he looked good in the first innings, under tricky situation, obviously, on that flat one. Got Stokes out on the boundary, and he bowled with a bit of control and a bit of edge to it as well, I thought. But at the moment, he's just struggling to get going, just reordering his field. 2 overs for 21 so far.
Long on, back in front of that big football stand, quite wide. They got a square leg on the boundary as well. As Bracewell comes in, big swing, and there's an appeal for a caught behind. They like it, and immediately they're going to go upstairs for the stumping is the issue. I thought for a moment it might be caught behind, but umpire's review is the call, so we're going to have a look at the stumping. Overton actually hasn't left his ground yet. It's a question of whether that back foot has come up off the ground.
If it has, it's come up momentarily. They don't seem to be especially excited, but you never know.
Sharp work from London.
Very.
It wasn't a sort of proper roar of how's that. It was more of a how's that. Here we go. We'll have a look at Ultra Edge. He's missed that. Oh, it's only a matter of feet, but he has missed it. Get on with it. There's never a need for rocking and rolling there. That foot is down. That foot is down. It stays down, and it doesn't come back up again. It's fine. So Jeremy Cody joining the call. What do you make of what we've seen in the last half an hour or so?
Well, it just shows you that things change in the game, don't they? That the movement, stops, that the placid nature of a pitch begins to show through, and that therefore the game is a little bit easier. And so we've seen, instead of bowlers on top, we've started to see batsmen dominating things. Bracewell, as a young man on debut, is he's struggling, and I mentioned if England attacked him and the runs started to come, then New Zealand become a three-man attack, and it exposes the selection that New Zealand made prior to the match. They had to think about picking the best spinner first, but they were concerned about the length and the batting. So they've only got themselves to blame really for that.
Bracewell into bowl to Overton once more, a little bit quicker and flatter through to the gloves of the keeper.
It's finding the speed to bowl as a spinner is a very important skill. You're trying to look for what is the speed to bowl.
Bracewell cruising in once more, another quicker delivery. That is thrashed away through the covers for four. Overton taking a step to the leg side and giving it a rather agricultural heave away. Finding that gap, moving to 46, and England have passed the halfway point in their attempts to overhaul this New Zealand first innings total. 167 for 6.
Yeah, but that's very wide, isn't it? The batsman a very long time to look at it. He's been in for a while now, and we're starting to see some shots. And you've got to expect that if you're bowling that short, really. And so, and now New Zealand are in this, confronting this dilemma a wee bit.
Bracewell in. This is now behind square. That's nicely played. Running down towards deep third. Fielder in pursuit. It's Wagner who will just about pull it in. The crowd don't like it. They enjoy a little fumble, though, to allow an extra run to be taken. Throw in. We'll see Bairstow reclaiming the strike as Overton moves to within 1 of 50 on Test debut. 170 for 6.
And he looks pretty comfortable too, doesn't he? Just kind of puts the Stokes innings in a different light, doesn't it? And getting out in that way, when you see it like this, perhaps you might think about it a bit more, just a bit differently next time.
It feels an odd one.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, all of the time. Bairstow looking for the sweep, getting hold of it, rushing down towards fine leg, but there is protection in the form of Will Young down on the boundary below us. Bairstow will pick up one to keep the strike. The score after 34 overs, 171 for 6.
Want to win the ultimate 2022 Toyota AFL Grand Final VIP experience? Thanks to Choices Flooring, you and your mate could be mixing with the stars at some of the biggest events of the footy season. Experience all the hype of Grand Final week firsthand, then be at the big match itself, the 2022 Toyota AFL Grand Final. Prize includes all tickets, 6 nights accommodation and return flights. Visit iCanWin.com.au and you could win thanks to Choices Flooring. AFL authorised GF promotion, GFAFL 22/07.
Test match cricket on SENZ and across the SEN network. 171 for 6 is the England score, with Johnny Bairstow in the runs again for England after early wickets in this innings from Trent Boult. England, when this partnership came together, were 55 for 6 and now 171 for 6, Jeremy Cohen.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a good partnership, isn't it? And it puts those early wickets into context a little bit. But the ball has stopped moving for New Zealand, and they've therefore become a different attack, and they need to try and use different methods to try and create those opportunities. At the moment, they're going for 5 runs and over, or just over that. And when you're doing that, you know, it's hard. You've got to stop the bleeding somehow, and the best way to do it, of course, they need to take wickets. But they're not really in the attempt to try and get people out, they're not really looking like getting a wicket, are they? They're now one wide slip at about force.
Wagner bowls short. There's the depth pull, and it just drops gently into the hands of the fielder at slip along the ground. Bairstow's having a little look at that surface about halfway down. As the wind picks up a little bit, it's a little bit fresher out there, Jeremy.
Yeah, I think Wagner too, if he's going to bowl the short pitch ball, then I would think he should be bowling from the other end, shouldn't he? And with a longer boundary away to our left as we look at the ground, rather than to the right. Much quicker out there, shorter, and also all those practice pitches. Once it gets on there, it just accelerates away from you.
Wagner's having a little conference with his captain. We've got a fielder on the boundary at fine leg, deep backward square leg, and a square leg as well, as Wagner is in. It's a delivery which is full in the air, and almost into the hands of the fielder at mid-off, who has to pull himself up, Kane Williamson, and chase that ball down to the ropes. Bairstow will get back for a third. He didn't get hold of it at all, and it was so close to the breakthrough.
Yeah, not a tall man, Williamson, and he was at deepish mid-off, and Bairstow tried to hit him over, and it's really got the back of the bat. He's looking to get it, I think. Got through the shot a bit early, and Williamson moving as much as he can to get near the stroke and the chance, diving almost backwards. Just eluded him. 3 runs.
There's 2 men on the leg side boundary for Overton, who's on 49. He goes hard into that leg side and clutches it away for 4. It's been a fine innings from the debutant. He moves to 53, pulling that ball in front of square. And Jamie Overton had already eclipsed his twin brother's highest test score, which was 41 not out. And a maiden 50 on test debut when his country needed it.
Yes, well played, Overton. Just what England needed, really. Someone to stay, first of all, with Bairstow, who's always going to score quickly the way he plays. But Overton is kind of matching him now, isn't he? He's playing some lovely shots. Poor ball.
Wagner in again. That's a better ball, which rises and is actually reasonably well played, very well played by Overton from under his chin.
Tall man, though, isn't he? As you called him, the giant oak, hewn from stone or something like that yesterday. And he is. So it's hard for Wagner on this placid pitch to get that up and create a bit of a problem for him. He's got to make a big effort to do that. No, I just don't know how New Zealand can at the moment, how they can stop the bleeding right now.
Runs coming quickly. Wagner is in, short once more. It's an attempted pull which hits something and bounces maybe 7 or 8 yards away. Overton in front of square on the leg side. A little conversation between Murray Erasmus and the batsman just to make sure there's no need for a concussion check or anything like that. They are.
Get him on the helmet, did it?
I think it might have been arm
up to helmet.
Possibly. I think Murray Erasmus is going to say, yeah, let's get that checked out. And maybe a drink as well for umpires and players just to make the most of this opportunity, and indeed they are going to do exactly that with Overton on 53, Bairstow on 83.
So I mean it's time for a little chat from New Zealand too, just to think about how they can approach the next next few overs, because the game has actually got away from them. This partnership, and this is the 7th wicket partnership, really, they should be able to find a couple of bowlers that can tidy things up. They started with the 2 strong bowlers after tea, Southey and Bolt. Neither, well, mainly Southey, went for too many runs, just too wide of off stump, and Bairstow was into him like a shot, wasn't he? Any width at all, and then he pitched up a bit full, he was driven, and just leg stump a bit more, and he was driven on the leg side. So it's quite a difficult sort of slow this down in some way. And they've played a lot of cricket, this team. They need to have a way to do that. I keep coming back to the point. Spinner.
We'll get some more thoughts from you in a moment, Jeremy, but drinks are being taken here at Headingley with England 1-7-8 for 6.
Go on, make the call. We all believe in you. One at a time, please. Thousands of Aussies keep switching to Kogan Mobile, but hurry right now. You can get started with Kogan from just $2.90 for 30 days, with unlimited calls and texts and a big 20 gig of data at award-winning prepaid prices. Make the call. Switch to Kogan Mobile from just $2.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au/radio. Still hunting around for incredible value? Ditch the magnifying glass and check out the Kogan Money credit card. There's no annual fee, plenty of tantalising rewards, and if you meet the spend requirements, you could earn $400 in credit to spend on Kogan.com. So go on and make the switch to a great value credit card at koganmoney.com.au/radio.
Offer ends August 21. T's and C's, credit criteria, other fees and charges apply. Credit provider National Australia Bank Limited.
On the SEN app, check out the SENW channel with stars of women's sport at home and abroad. Daisy Pierce, Katie Brown, Stephanie Brandt. Plus, on the SENW channel, we cover AFLW, Rugby League, W League, netball, cricket, and track the female stars of horse racing and more. For the latest news, interviews, and catch-up podcasts with the biggest names in women's sport, jump on the SENW channel. Download the SEN app now.
SENZ Test cricket for Rosine. The Paints, the Kiwis trust with Adam Collins and Jeremy Coney preparing to pick up the call for the fresh hour of play. Drinks remain on the field. Another one of these 6-minute drinks breaks. 178 for 6 England. They started this session at 91 for 6. They just keep putting the foot down, this pair. So now up to 83 there with Jamie Overton, who's completed a half-century at the first time of asking as a Test cricketer. Jeremy, we enjoyed some of his work yesterday, Overton, with the ball. Not quite so much today, but he's an all-round offering for England. At number 8, he could be very useful.
Yeah, I think so. Number 8. Question is he a bowler or is he a batsman? And you'd think that he's always going to be a bowler who can bat.
Yeah.
And that's what he needs to really work on. I thought today actually he didn't look entirely fit. I'm not saying he's got an injury. I just don't think he's fit enough for the role that he's actually playing. He bowled 16 overs yesterday, which isn't the compliment you'd expect from a main frontline bowler. And then today, yes, I agree that there was some short stuff in there which takes the gas out of the tank a wee bit, but you'd expect that he was nowhere near 90 miles an hour, we were told, and not even in, he was sort of mid-80s to 80, I think, at the end. He was 41 runs yesterday after 16 overs. He went 7 overs today, something like that, for 45, round about those sort of numbers. Yeah. And so you don't want that from your main bowlers, I don't think.
But with that in hand, he's 53.
Oh, he's doing the job here.
Oh no, absolutely.
But it's easy. But it's easy now. This is easy.
No, the game has distinctly changed. I mean, they put on 123 from 138 balls.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. They're scoring over 5 and over right now. So what's Wagner going to do? They had a chance to have a chat. Now, is he going to attack him with some short pitch balls?
There are 3 back and a deep third. Bowling to Overton on 53. Start of the new hour. Overton swings and ends through the cordon. 4 more. The runs keep flowing. The partnership to 127. He made room. He went leg side to try and slap it. Who knows where exactly, but off the top edge, over first slip. 4 more to the tally. That's his 8th for Overton to go with a 6. 182 for 6.
Yeah, but you can see where it gets up. It gets up only to around about the sort of waist height, and that's the problem for Wagner. While the batsman's given himself some room, he can slash away. It can go anywhere, of course. He didn't get full toll of it, but he got it sort of to find third man, and that's another boundary.
So still 25 overs in theory left today. They'll get about 16 of them in if they really want to, so they'll fall well short of the finish line. And 16, well, 147 runs left on the board to draw level. They won't get quite that far, but if these two are still there, they'll both be well beyond 100.
They'll get another 80 runs, you would think, at this stage. So they'll be 260, 270 if that's the case.
Yeah.
And the lead that New Zealand potentially had has been destroyed and just taken away, not whittled either.
Well, when they came together at 55 for 6, remembering that Jamie Overton should have been out-legged before wicket very early in his innings, they didn't go upstairs. They blew a review on a 50-50, which proved to be missing leg stump as Bracewell prepares to start a new over. He's not quite ready yet. He's got 3 overs, none for 29.
He's coming round the wicket now, so that opens up LBW a little bit for him if he pitches across the stumps.
Bairstow, fielder's out. He dances and tries to take one, but can't beat mid-wicket. Bairstow this year, I had a look before jumping on, Jeremy. He's averaging 57. He's made 3 centuries and a 50 for a guy who was, on the cusp of not playing Test cricket again.
Yeah.
What a response.
He's in good form at the moment.
So deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, long on, deep backward point with Bracewell round the wicket to Bairstow here, sweeping, getting it out behind square, into the gap, another 4. What an innings this is from Bairstow. He's just about unstoppable at the moment. That's his 13th 4. He moves to 87 from just 79 deliveries.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5-4 onside field. Normally you've got that man that stroke went over. He's got to be at 45, and the man right down. He's very fine, isn't he? I mean, if that's really for a line that you're bowling leg stump and you're being hit down behind with a little paddle sweep. He's got to go square, and this other man has got to come finer. I don't think that's now they're changing it.
Yeah, so the finer man's sort of inside the fielding circle in one-day terms, and the sweeper Devon Conway goes squarer, and in turn they move the deep square leg closer to deep mid-wicket. So they're making adjustments every ball. They're trying to find something, and sure enough, Johnny Bairstow spotted something behind the bowler's arm, or so he believes. It might be that poor Stewart again.
The other thing
I know it's the door board, and that was that. Now they've got an enormous sight screen, and the door on the second deck is sufficient to annoy Bairstow.
It's Joel Garner player.
No, it's Michael Bracewell bowling here to Bairstow. Goes back this time. Takes a signal to backward point. And Neil Wagner, a favourite of the Western Terrace, does the fielding. He moves to 88 from 80 balls. That's 187 for 6 halfway through the 36th over.
Bracewell also needs to just vary his pace a bit. At the moment, he's very flat, not getting any turn. He's just got to just calm down a little bit, and sort of get the ball up but get it to come down.
Well, Overton keep going. Similar field. Tries to tuck it around the corner unsuccessfully. Yeah, they're keeping the deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, long on configuration for Overton. So the same plan for both batters here. They've got a slip, staying round the wicket. Bracewell bowls, Overton goes back and carves behind point. Out towards the rope, work to do for Wagner. He just drags it in. They get 2. Bairstow wants a third. Bairstow gets a third. One of the fastest runners between wickets in the world. So Jamie Overton moves into the 60s with 1 ball left in the over. 190 for 6. The deficit down to 139.
Too short. And that just allows a cut to be played very, very easily. Much harder if the ball is up in the air and bouncing just a little bit more. You get an edge to those ones, and you get the chance to turn.
They keep tweaking here. So backward point was up for Overton. Back on the rope for Bairstow. Last ball of the over. Bracewell bowls and Bairstow laps, gets a bit tangled up, but spills off his pad into the onside. End of the over. 190 for 6 to score. Our coverage is for Razine, the pace that Kiwis trust.
Download the
app from the Apple and Google App Stores. Then get set for all your big moments in sports.
Ash on the forehand, Koskov's done it. Ash Barty, other one, the shot for three. He's striking them pure.
Listen to any SEN show from around Australia and New Zealand. Gary White and Tim Watson.
This is Trackside.
Tim Gossett.
Breakfast, Ansley.
Plus, it's now available on Apple CarPlay. The SEN app, your home of sport, from wherever you are on the planet.
After dominating the first hour of the second innings of this match, New Zealand now look bereft. They need options, and they need them fast, because Bracewell is not playing the containment role. He's conceded 37 runs in 4 overs, Jeremy.
Yeah, 9 runs an over almost. You can't keep that going. So New Zealand, I mean, they have to find somebody else.
They turn to Wagner, as they so often do. 3 out on the leg side, bowling here to Overton. Over the wicket, away from us. Overton makes room in front of square, doesn't make contact, deflects off maybe his thigh pad, ends up at backward point, no run. That's the second time we've seen Overton, when they put the third man out, look to open up, probably long on if he makes contact. We'll see. We'll see. Will he keep going? Keep chancing his hand. He's 40 away from what could be 100 on test debut. Let's not forget that either.
Yeah, he could give himself room and sort of bunt it straight back over the bowler.
Wagner to the crease, bowls to Overton. It's full, and it's a slower ball. It sneaks through past the leg stump, well past the leg stump. Hands on heads, though. That wasn't far away from something going wrong for the big all-rounder. Just 108 kilometres an hour, so all the pace off that one.
That's good. That's exactly, at least one of the bowlers change things for the batsman. At the moment, if you just stay the same pace, it makes it much more simple to try and attack it. It's a shot of balls, isn't it?
Oh, who would have thought we'd see a field like this a couple of hours ago, when Bolt and Southey and Wagner were rolling through England. Wagner took wickets with his second and fifth deliveries. Running up from the football stand end, away from the Kirkstall lane end now, delivering to Overton over the wicket, making room again, this time making contact and giving it everything. Way back into the Western Terrace. That's a big one. His second 6. Overton moves to 66 in England, 196 for 6. But I'll tell you what, he telegraphed it. A couple of times he tried to play that shot, swung and missed. This time he got all of it.
It's an emphatic strike, isn't it? But it's, again, the height of the ball. That's not Wagner. He's got to get it up higher than that to make it at least a risk. There's no risk in that stroke at all.
Has that been caught by a man in the crowd?
Yes, I think.
Oh, it's through his hands at the last moment on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. That's gone 15, 20 rows back. Will he go again, Overton? The crowd want him to. Wagner bowls here. It's straight and driven down the ground. Another boundary. Overton to 70. Bang, bang. 200 for 6. This is a marvellous partnership. It's up to 145, and they're not done yet, Jeremy Coney.
2 good shots, weren't they? Very clean strikes. First one over mid-wicket. Second one just gave himself some room with the front foot and then held the poise and just used a straight bat this time, just on the offside. Nice stroke.
He's seeing it like the proverbial beach ball. 2 left in the over. Wagner to Overton, down the leg side, pace off, can't catch up with it, ends up with Blundell. As you pointed out before, every delivery is an event right now, isn't it?
Now, can Wagner come around the wicket? You know, they've got to change things. Just can't keep leaving it the same. You know, change the angle, change the pace, bowl an off cutter. You know, I think you have to change things up. I mean, at the moment, you know, New Zealand are bleeding from both ends of the pitch at the moment.
So they don't change the field. Williamson has a chat to Wagner before he sets off to complete his 9th over, an expensive one. Into Overton, bowls here short, makes room, slaps through cover. It's going to be 4 more. What an authoritative shot it is from a man on test debut. He's 74. They trail by 125. 4 for 6. We'll go to a break for Racine, the Pates the Kiwis trust.
Download the SEN app from the Apple and Google App Stores. Then get set for all your big moments in sports.
Super Bowl 56. One of the all-time against the odds wins.
SEN created podcasts, recreation, lifestyle, racing, and all of our SEN shows.
The Sounding Board.
Real Adventures Trailblazers.
Latest radio live. Plus, it's now available on Apple CarPlay. The SEN app, your home of sport, from wherever you are on the planet. A partnership of 149 in 151. You wouldn't dream of a response like this from where they were when they came together at 55 for 6. England were in all sorts. Between Bolt and Southey and Wagner, it looked like their plan A was backfiring badly. It was backfiring badly, but as they said last week at Trent Bridge, they're going to keep playing aggressive cricket to the last. From the football stand end is going to be Trent Bolt, who was immaculate, bowling from the Kirkstall lane end in his first spell, taking 3 wickets, all clean bowls. Now he comes back for his second spell after tea. Both of those have been from the football stand end, so they're trying to change it up and shake things up and make something happen.
Well, I wondered whether he might come around. I thought he bowled all his best. Well, his best spell was up from the Kirkstall lane end, wasn't it? Whether he feels that he can repeat that, but I mean, just the run rates from each of the bowlers.
We've got another. I can't explain what's going on here. The umpires are together. Maybe they're taking a light reading. I've seen no evidence of them taking a light reading. 2 minutes between overs. Sure, it's only Test cricket, whatever. We'll get 77 overs in for the day or something ridiculous.
It's Kettleborough.
Kettleborough's going up to Bolt. And Bolt has got 2 fingers held in the air. Oh, hang on. Trent Bolt was given his cap back by the umpire. What? So Trent Bolt was going to bowl the over. The umpires have come together. Umpire Kettleborough's walked over to Trent Bolt, given him his cap. Now, for a moment there, I thought Daryl Mitchell was going to bowl the over. Initially, I thought that was the bowling change. And now Mitchell is going to bowl it. I mean, there's clearly something going on here that we can't detect from 120 metres away. But why would have Mitchell been ready to bowl, they're not bowling, and then the umpires get involved? Has Mitchell been off the field? I don't believe so.
No, he's been at slip
the whole time.
Yeah.
And now Trent Bolt drops back to backward square, and now we're about 4 minutes between overs. That's announced over the loudspeaker here that a man with a couple of Test wickets at 84, but a better bowler than that, as we've seen in white ball fair for New Zealand, gets his first opportunity for the Test match. He bowled a sole delivery at Lord's back in the opening match when he completed the over. Completed the over of Tim Southey, or possibly it's a long time ago now.
Probably Colin de Grandon when he went off.
Sorry, right you are. Yes, Colin de Grandon. So we finally reset. Bairstow on 88, Overton on 74. Performers on strike. There's 2 out on the leg side, a deep point. 1 man behind the wicket. And he plays him respectfully from the crease out towards cover, no run. I'll be fascinated to find out what that was all about. Maybe Phil Walker can work out from Twitter or what they were saying on Sky, because that was weird.
Yeah.
And they've still got, I know I bang on about this a bit, but 23 overs in theory to bowl today. They've got 55 minutes to bowl them. That's never going to happen. How long before Bairstow tries to take Mitchell downtown? That's the question. He bowls here, and Bairstow carves away through point, behind point. There should be a couple there. Oh, Bairstow wants to. Overton sends him back. A bit of confusion. And probably the right call, all told, with Neil Wagner. Has a great arm there. And that's the 150 partnership. So recognised by the crowd here at Headingley. They've raised it in just 153 deliveries after coming together at 55 for 6. This is Test cricket in fast forward. This is the modern game that Brendan McCullum is talking about. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Well, with these two right now, splendid stuff. The highest 7th wicket partnership for England in Test against New Zealand as well, beating Alan Knott and Peter Lever at Auckland in 1971. We're told on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen.
Happening so quickly too, isn't it? That they've gone beyond being in trouble and now dominating things. And New Zealand are the ones who are in trouble.
Yeah, they're only 124 in the black now, the Black Caps. Mitchell, the man with the hot hand, Overton. Oh, strikes him on the pad. Has to be close there. Kettle returns it down. Mitchell nearly bleeding.
nearly went down to his knees. They're not going to use the... Got one left. Mitchell's got the smile on his face as he passes umpire Kettlebell. Let's take another look, Jeremy Coney, on the Chemist Warehouse screen.
Was it wide, or did he get an edge on it? Because it was nice and low, just angled in. Yes, it's a big inside edge into the pads.
Yeah, from our angle, Overton, we weren't necessarily to know the ball had hit the bat. It just looked like he was caught on the crease, and he was. Did a nice big deflection. Mitchell bowls here. Overton leaves alone. Haven't seen much of that today. 2:05 for 6 stays the score. 1 ball left. 2 balls left in the over. What a day of Test cricket this has been. All the lights on now here at Headingley. Every seat taken into Western Terrace and the Eastern Stand as well. People aren't going anywhere. Why would you? A lot to see over the next hour or so.
My old mate Shake Wright's apparently over there. John Wright.
Mitchell bowls, and again, Overton's happy to leave alone. Is he now?
Had a meeting. He's now president of Derbyshire. And apparently he went to the meeting and then put his shorts on and headed off to the Western Terrace. So he'll be over there somewhere at the moment.
Fantastic.
He's a cracker.
The man who made 93 here in 83. 83 win.
Yeah, he's a cracker of a man.
They're a club on the rise, Derbyshire. Probably a conversation for another time. But
I mean, an opener, of course, and so they're always slightly different, those openers.
Winterviz has really adjusted here. New Zealand at 45, England at 36. Those numbers were a lot different 2 hours ago. Mitchell bowls and Overton plays through the cordon for more. Thick edge along the ground through about 4th slip. He ends the over with a boundary, moves along to 78. England 2:09 for 6. They trail by 120. Our coverage is for Razine, made right in New Zealand for New Zealand conditions.
With the rise of resistant worms, are you using a sheep drench that works? Demand the best from your drenching program. Drench your sheep with StarTect. Purchase 3 StarTect 15-litre drenches from your nearest Nutrien Ag Solutions store and claim your bonus Safeguard Cargo Net this autumn. If you demand performance, then choose StarTect for your sheep drench and stay a step ahead of resistance. Ask for StarTect at your nearest Nutrien Ag Solutions store while stocks last.
2:09 for 6. Adam Collins with Jeremy Coney. I was just saying, between overs, Jeremy, how about we do a deal, Nikesh? I'll take best. You take Overton's, because Nikesh has had the hot hand when it comes to calling the tons through the series, and Johnny Bairstow's 11 away from that milestone. And he's got Tim Southey to deal with here. So they're making a double change. They've parted ways with Bracewell and Wagner, and now it's going to be Holt and Southey. Lennon and McCartney. And Southey has bowled 12 overs, 1 for 57. Again, they're taking their time between overs. Tweaking. Not yet happy. And now they'll set off. 1 out on the leg side. Bairstow, 89. Southey to him here. New spell. Plays him round the corner. Wants 2. Won't get 2. Overton sends him back. Bracewell does well, charging in from deep square. He's up to 90. 2:10 for 6. They trail by 119.
It's a decent start for Southey. Can't give too much width. Change again the angle, which he's so good at. Change the pace so that the strike, when it comes, can actually be a bit early and you can hit it up in the air. Just keep thinking, bowlers, and the batsmen have to be aware of that too. They've got to watch for those little things. Man comes into gully for Overton. 1 slip, 1 gully, wide slip.
Southey here to Overton on 78. Delivers here. He defends from the crease. I've had enough time between balls to check how many men have made 100 on Test debut. It's up to 112.
Well, you can't go through those.
I'm not going to go through those, just noting that there've been a few, but that's the last player to do it for England. You've got to go back to Keaton Jennings at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Helps you wet, rest and play. 2:10 for 6 is the score. Southey away from us, slip in a gully. Bowls here. defending back down the pitch. Out towards extra cover, no run.
It's a rare occurrence. No runs off a dot there. A dot ball at last. They're like gold at the moment for New Zealand. Last time I was on, you were reading out all sorts of texts from New Zealand saying, "Oh, this is great, I'm enjoying this. It's raining a lot."
Should I bring them up?
They've kind of quietly stopped, haven't they?
I might quietly bring them back up again.
They're on holiday at the moment in New Zealand. There's a thing called Matariki, which they had Friday off, and so they got a 3-day weekend there.
Overton facing Southey. Halfway through he's over and he leaves alone outside the off stump. The energy's changed a bit since they brought back Bolt and Southey. So the long weekend is in honour of... Is it recognised anything in particular?
It's the first time it's ever been held, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You have a look up the word Mata, M-A-T-A, Riki, R-I-K-I. And I think you'll find it's some sort of Maori year.
A special occasion in the New Zealand calendar marking the start of the Maori New Year.
There you go.
Signifying the Matariki cluster of stars.
That's it.
Southey bowls gets big there on Overton. Wants a quick single after it deflects into the onside, but they think better of it. It says here, signified by the Matariki cluster of stars reappearing in the New Zealand night sky. A time to reflect on the past year, celebrate the present, and plan for the year ahead.
There you are. That's why you get the extra day off. There's a lot to contemplate there.
You only get, a certain amount of days to have as bank holidays or days.
Yes.
That feels like a good one to me.
Well, we don't have bank holidays in New Zealand.
Or public holidays, I suppose they're called, where we're from. We've got Manny saying, "Can I have the $50, please?" I said, "Please." I don't know where he's listening. Sorry, Manny. Here's Southey bowling, and down the leg side, it just skips past Overton's blade into the over. 210 for 6 with Bairstow back on strike on 90 from 84 balls.
The other thing to do in these circumstances is to do what happened to Mitchell earlier today, wasn't he? He got about 5 runs and maybe 15 overs or something like that. Is to try and take Bairstow out of the game, give him a single, let him stand at the non-striker's end so that he doesn't keep on the rhythm of innings at the moment is just running away from New Zealand. Put him at the non-striker's end, don't allow him to face and bowl the majority of the deliveries if they can, to Overton. And the trouble is that Overton's been scoring, as quickly almost, hasn't he?
So they can't hold up an end. They've got to set fielders back for both.
Yeah.
We've still got Brian Barker in Christchurch with us, finally in with a great chance. He might have said that a little while ago. You might have said that's a little while ago, but the sentiment's appreciated. Stick with us through to the close of play in 45 minutes' time. Daryl Mitchell, his second over to Bairstow. He's on 90, facing up to Bairstow, beaten outside the off stump. It's a point that you and I both made, Jeremy, through the series, is that Mitchell's got more to him as a bowler than he bowls a lot in one-day cricket, moves it around.
He's a competitive man too, and he doesn't like being hit. He's just got to be careful he doesn't get too wide here. He's got a little bit of movement there, obviously slower than any of the other quick bowlers, so it has got a wee bit more time to move if he gets the release right at his end.
So Mitchell sets off towards Bairstow. They trail by 119. Bowls here, Bairstow beaten again. Playing from the crease, a lot of footwork, trying to steer him through, let's say, backward point. Mitchell comes up for a little chat as well, for a wee chat, and Bairstow goes back at him. Don't mind that, as Phil Walker pointed out before. Bairstow's at his best when he's brawling with someone, and maybe Mitchell's up for it.
Well, he's been beaten twice in the last 2 balls, so that's all right. Mitchell doesn't have to say much. He's done the work he needs to do. Just turn around, go back, do it again.
So they've got a man at backward point who they've pushed back about 10 metres after those 2 plays of misses. A sweeper at deep point, deep square leg, and a fine leg. Mitchell to Bairstow. Bairstow driving down the ground, doesn't beat the bowler who sticks up a mid, takes some pace off it. That ends up with Williamson at mid-off, no run.
That's good. Starting to put together some, 3 or 4 deliveries this over?
Yeah, three good dots.
Yep. Okay.
So build some pressure. And I think that we've seen that in the last couple of, they've taken a look at Mitchell. There was the thick edge in the first over, but broadly speaking, they're playing him watchfully and they're playing Southey respectfully.
Yep. Is he going to charge here? What's Bairstow going to do?
Mitchell bowls, Bairstow beaten again. That was a little fed. He might have pulled inside the line at the last moment there, but again, he's flirting with balls in that part of the pitch, which he wasn't at before.
And if he's going to play like that, then I think if I was Southey, I'm going to go a little bit finer. He's too wide there, I think, for a slip, for that sort of stroke. He's got to come in a bit closer to the keeper, Blundell.
Southey in the short sleeve jumper at third slip. They've also got a mid-wicket, mid-on, mid-off and cover, conventional, on the 1. 2 balls left in the over. Mitchell up to Bairstow. Bowls here. Bairstow clipping, but can't beat mid-wicket. Really good over this from Mitchell. Just changing the energy a little bit after we had that extraordinary passage of play for about half an hour there, where after C they were giving it everything.
Not enough marks yet for Bracewell either, really, are there, on the surface to try and get some variation and turn if he was able to hit the target. Not sure whether he'd be able to do that from what we've seen either.
So it's Mitchell to finish. It's up to the crease. Football stand in, close to the stumps, and Bairstow drives through the offside. Probably won't get 4, although it does pick up pace as it reaches the rope. There's a sweeper. It's Bracewell. He cuts it off. They come back for 2. Bairstow 92 at the end of the over. 212 for 6 the score. They trail by 117. Overton down the other end on 78. Jeremy Coney is going to jump out in favour of Phil Walker. Thank you, Jeremy, for your contributions throughout the course of the day. We'll hear from you again tomorrow. Currently 100 and... Phil, when you and I were last on, it was in the middle of the collapse, and we were thinking, well, the follow-on's in the frame here, and it was. At 55 for 6, the follow-on was very much a talking point. It was happening so quickly. That was the 12th over.
Nothing makes sense.
Here goes Southey. Bairstow to Overton rather. He defends the first ball of the over, back down the pitch, no run. Overton's on 78. Nothing makes sense. It's about right. Can you imagine this England team from 12 months ago? You can't, can you? That's the thing.
No, you can't. You can't. Individuals create these moments though as well, and you know, for all that we talk up the new broom, the new philosophy, this has just been an exhibition by a player who is beginning to really emerge as one of the best around.
Southey bowls and Overton takes 1 out the deep square. He's 79.
And Bestow's played okay as well.
Yeah, tell me about it. I was thinking through before with Jeremy, you know, the ton-on debut, it's got something special about it, doesn't it? And I don't expect that Jamie Overton would necessarily have that at front of mind. It doesn't strike me as the type that would be, you know, thinking about the achievements of, you know, Archie Jackson and all the rest of it way back when. But we can ponder.
Yeah, he's uncomplicated chap, Jamie Overton.
You go through it. England players, there's I mentioned before, Keaton Jennings, Ben Folkes, of course. I missed him on the list. But before that, Jonathan Trott, famous innings at the Oval. Matt Fryer, Alistair Cook in India, Andrew Strauss in Cape Town. Sorry, at Lords rather. I guess New Zealand. Southey up to the crease, bowls to Bairstow, who carves away, but straight to deep point. Only gets 1. He's 93, 214 for 6.
Do we know if any of those names from the long list, not just English players, have made it from number 8?
Good question.
A test debut 100 from number 8.
None of those I've just mentioned.
None of those. Matt Pryor was batting 6 or 7.
Yeah.
7, against West Indies. 126, I believe.
Some are fair weight. Good from you.
Thank you, mate.
There's Graham Thorpe at Trent Bridge, back in the 93 Ashes.
113, maybe.
114 not out. Southey to Overton, 79. Through the covers. Hits that so well. They've got a sweeper right there, but they come back for 2 on the misfield. Overton wants it, gets it. Yeah, good batting. Good game awareness, really, from Overton. It's usually Bairstow looking for 2, and Overton the more conservative of the pair, but you detected in this partnership, which continues to swell. What's it up to now with that 2? It moves on to 161 from 173 balls. Ridiculous.
Highest score by an England number 8 on debut, and ticking. So there you go, there's your answer.
So you've got it.
Nikesh has just had a word, and he's on 81. No other number 8 for England on debut has ever reached such targets before. 19 to go.
Southey's still got a couple of slips to Overton. Wants to nick him off. Full and straight and defended here, back down the pitch.
That's a statement block if ever I've seen one.
Yes. I was gaming this with Nikesh before, saying, I'll take Bairstow, you take Overton. Why don't we have a bit more jeopardy in this? I'll do one more over after this. Bairstow's on 93. If he doesn't get there,
Okay, I think that's fair.
I've given myself every opportunity to call this tough. But Nikesh, he's got the golden touch, so we'll give it to him and he'll do it right. Southey to Overton, 81, and stays on 81, defending out to cover. End of the over. We'll take a break on SENZ Test Cricket for Razine, the paints that Kiwis trust with England. 2:16 for 6.
Go on, make the call. We all believe in you. One at a time, please. Thousands of Aussies keep switching to Kogan Mobile. But hurry right now. You can get started with Kogan from just $2.90 for 30 days. With unlimited calls and texts and a big 20 gig of data at award-winning prepaid prices. Make the call. Switch to Kogan Mobile from just $2.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au/radio.
Adam Collins for one final over. I've got Phil Walker with me. The back of the box, Jeremy Coney, Henry Moran, Nikesh Regani. We're all here hoping to see a couple of hundreds. They deserve it. It's been that kind of day, that kind of session. All the lights on here at Headingley. We said in our intro yesterday that weird, wonderful things happen at this ground. They have for 120 years. And we saw 55 for 6 nearly become 55 for 7. And now we've seen this. Absurd partnership, really, worth 161. Mitchell mutters to himself, starts his run, bowls to Bairstow on 93, who drives down the ground, gets himself a 4. Glorious on drive.
You're in the money here, Adam Collins.
We'll see. 3 and 5. I'll tell you what. That is. It's not about me. It's about that bloke in the middle, Johnny Bairstow, who has hit the pants off that. Yes, that's to start the over. Right out the screws.
It's not the first on drive he's hit today either. This game is in seriously good order. And there is a sense of theatre as well that he's brought from Trent Bridge into this place, his home ground.
Bairstow on 97. Mitchell to him here, cutting away, doesn't beat that good point. The crowd went up as one momentarily. And the oohs came through the effects mic. Not far away from getting past the man there. That's Will Young. They've got a slip. That's Tim Southey. Third slip. Deep point. Cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket. Deep backward square. And a fine leg. Mitchell in his third over. Mitchell on his way from the football stand end to Bairstow on 97. Bowls here and Bairstow turns around the corner. There'll be one. And that'll be his lock. Moves to 98. 222. Make that 221 for 8. Brings Overton back on the strike on 81. All the England players are gathered on the balcony. Joe Root, Ben Stokes, Ollie Pope. They've all been and gone, but they're having the time of their lives watching their compatriots do their thing.
How many test players, test batters have made back-to-back better than a run of ball test hundreds?
Yeah, that's a...
Nikesh, get on it. He's fallen off his chair, Adam.
I know there's one player that's made 100 from number 8 on Test Taboo. That was Roger Hardigan in a ridiculous test match at Adelaide in 1908.
Right.
Where he, in 50-degree heat, so they say, he with Clem Hill put on about 300. Overton facing up on 81. Oh, straight back over Mitchell's head. Caught that. Pushed out the front leg out towards mid-wicket and said, I'll have a bit of it, please. He's 85. England 225 for 6.
Yeah, that's an astonishing shot. It's a flat back slap. Kettleborough, the umps, jumps out the way. Yeah, look, he's hit it as cleanly as Bairstow, and you can't offer any better compliment than that. This is extraordinary. Just like he's playing for his village club back in Barnstaple in Devon, where him and his twin brother used to play.
So it's Mitchell. 2 balls left in the over. Overton's on 85. 225 for 6. And he defends back down the pitch. There'll be no single there. They trail by 104. Every top ball's being applauded. This crowd, cliched as it is, they love cricket. This is Cricket Central, Leeds and Yorkshire, and they know what they're seeing. They understand the significance of this partnership.
And witnessing the genius of the Test game yet again. I mean, we've already had three. Take it back to Trent Boult, clean bowling 3 players in the first 8 overs, not done since 1902.
Last ball of the over, Overton on strike on 85 and leaves it alone through to the keeper. Darryl Mitchell completes his 3rd over.
And Adam Collins walks, folks.
They trail by 104, England 225 for 6. And back to Johnny Bairstow on 98. Nikesh Regani to call the 100 with Phil Walker.
In you come.
The AFL record keeps you up to date with the latest news, features and stats. This week, based on current form, our team of SEN experts have selected State of Origin teams. Catch the kids page, player profile, team lists. Plus, we get a taste of finals with an action-packed Super Saturday featuring 3 crucial games. Brought to you by 4 and 20, Australia's original fan food. The AFL Record Round 15 edition. Available on game day and still only $5.
Afternoon, Phil. Yeah, SENZ Test Cricket for Racine, the Paints Kiwis Trust. It's been a mad afternoon. Adam Collins taking an extra 20 minutes to try and get Johnny Bairstow across the line with these 3 figures. Some things are just not meant to be, are they?
Collins has gone for a run round the ground. I think he's got to let off a bit more steam, the fella has.
Better luck in Sri Lanka, old boy.
He's a bit too laconic for my taste, Collins, sometimes. You know, he's just got to get a bit up for it.
Yeah. Never heard anyone say that before about the main man.
Right, 98.
Here we go. Johnny Bairstow on strike. Trent Boult will be running into bowl from the Kirkstall lane end. 2 slips in place, both spread far apart. In comes Boult to Bairstow, who drives down the ground. He's going to get one. He's beaten mid-off. And there it is. Johnny Bairstow takes his helmet off, runs over to the England dressing room. What a celebration that is. He must have some of his family in the crowd as well, because he's gone over to our right. He is loving this. Back-to-back centuries for Johnny Bairstow on his home ground. And what great scenes. Everyone's up on their feet around the stadium. A kiss of the badge as well on the helmet. He salutes some of his family members and friends down there just in front of us to our right. And what a moment this is, on his home ground as well, Phil.
It's just the greatest game ever invented, isn't it? This game of ours continues to confound and bewilder and evolve and intrigue. And everybody is up on their feet, 20,000 in today to see one of their own produce something that we will never forget. A purer innings than the one last week. Last week was wild and mercury and out of control. This innings has just been a masterpiece, really. An absolute masterpiece.
10th 100 as well. In comes Boult again. A good delivery in the swinger. This time just defended to mid-off by Bairstow. 102 from 95 when he brought up that milestone as well. And crucially, in the context of the game, England now only trail by 100 runs. This partnership worth 174 between these two. Let's not play down the role of Jamie Overton as well at the other end. 85 off just 96. Yes, the IPL.
It's a lot more interesting than that, Chief. Look, Jamie Overton, not just a second hand. I mean, he's matched him shot for shot here. You know, he's 17 runs behind Johnny Bairstow, having come in a wee bit later.
Boult into Bairstow again, who late cuts through the cordon in the gap between those 2 slips. I think that was beautifully placed there by Bairstow. The deft touch gets himself another boundary, 233 for 6.
Yeah, and the highlights reel on this innings will be more complete than what happened last week, I think, because there's been shots all around the park. There's been finesse, there's been deftness as well, especially behind square on the offside. And that was gorgeous, just ran it off the face between first and third.
Boult runs in once more, it's full, and this is a play and a miss, looking for the big booming drive down the ground. This time was Bairstow, missed it completely.
Keeps coming in though, Trent Boult. Keeps producing those tempters as well. He's bowled full all day. The ball looks in good nick as well, and it's still moving a wee bit off the straight. I mean, amidst all the craziness, there is still a game on here. England 2-3-3 for 6, 96 behind, and the next 45 minutes or so, 30 minutes or so, will be key, I think.
Bolt is a bit wide this time. Bairstow can't get that cut shot away. Just bounces down in front of that floating slip fielder, and there is no run. Yeah, trailing by just 96 now. I mean, that was unthinkable just a couple of hours ago, but what a partnership this has been. Jamie Overton at the other end, as we mentioned, the highest score at the moment by an England player on debut, batting at number 8, 85 from 96. Can he become the first Centurion? It could become like London buses, couldn't it? Collar goes off and we get 200s on the call here as Bolt comes in. This is down the leg side this time. He's still swinging it, but it's racing away towards the boundary. It's going to be cut off. He'll get through for a couple of leg buys, just flicking the outside of Johnny Bairstow's leg there. 43 overs gone then. England 235 for 6, trailing by 94.
Hey, welcome to Daryl's Dream Interpretations. So, what's your dream?
So last night I met a New Zealander in my dream, that's why I'm here, and he lent me his polar fleece and we climbed a glacier and did some mountain biking, and then we ate oysters with 2 seals called Peter and Jackson who knew heaps about Sauvignon Blanc. What does it mean?
Oh, book a ticket to New Zealand.
That's it?
You bet. Stop dreaming and go. Visit newzealand.com. 100% pure New Zealand.
SENZ Test Cricket for Resine, the Paints Kiwis Trust. Welcome back. It's been an absolutely crazy final session here at Headingley, home of weird and wonderful cricket, really, in recent times, certainly. Going back not just to 2019, I mean, I say recent times, you go back to 81. I mean, there's all sorts happening on this ground from time to time. That famous West Indies win here a few years back as well, unexpectedly.
Yeah.
We've got England here as Southey comes in, and this is a play and a miss from Overton outside the off stump, and this partnership for the 7th wicket worth 180 runs. Jamie Overton on Test debut, 85 from 96. Bairstow 106 from just 100 balls, 16 fours in that innings as well. They have gone toe to toe with each other, shot for shot.
Yep.
And it's been a delight to watch, really. This is the new brand that we talk about, isn't it? This sort of aggressive brand of Test cricket that they are looking to bring in. I mean, this sort of epitomises everything that Stokes and Brendan McCullum have talked about. As Southey comes in again, and this is driven out towards deep cover. Just a single this time for Overton. 181 that partnership moves on to England. 236 for 6, rather. And we kind of touched on it earlier, didn't we? It wasn't they were looking to be too expansive and too attacking. It was good bowling, good swing bowling, playable deliveries, and really good stuff from the Black Caps. But they've settled down really well here in this partnership. The one previously, Ben Folkes didn't last very long. Stokes, there was a few flashes in that particular innings as well. But it just shows you what a good pitch it is to start with as Southey comes in. It's short, it's pulled away this time into the gap, and that's going to be full side. There are 2 fielders out there on the boundary. It goes to the left of Trent Bolt, who's at long leg. Bairstow on to 110, England 240 for 6, just too short.
Yeah, 2 men out, and he's banged it in halfway down, but he could have banged it in anywhere. Could have block-holed it, and he'd have probably... It's a fine fault with what New Zealand have done across the last 30-odd overs. Bracewell didn't bowl great, in fairness, but aside from that...
Southey in again to Bairstow, attempted cut, play and a miss.
Aside from that, the momentum's just been unstoppable, and I don't think they can really, when they do sit down tonight, punch-drunk and shell-shocked as they will be, I don't think they can really ask too many questions of them. Sometimes the game just turns you inside out, inexplicably so. They had this game, not exactly won, but not far off it 2 hours ago. Now it's anybody's.
And Here comes again Southey. This is full and wide and smashed through extra cover. 4 more to Johnny Bairstow, who just stands and watches it race away in front of the Western Terrace. 4 more runs. Hit with disdain, that one. 244 for 6. Bairstow on to 114. It's too easy for the local man, isn't it now?
It's hard to know what to say anymore. We're paid to